welcome to LearnBytes, the show that delivers bite-sized pieces of wisdom so you can learn how to increase your efficiency and productivity, embrace your natural creativity, and lead with impact. I'm Samantha Garrett from Using Technology Better, and joining me today is Swan Yeo. Hi, Swan. Welcome. Yay. I'm very excited to have Swan with me today. We've known each other for a long time. Now, Swan is the Head of Education for Google Australia and New Zealand. But before we jump into the questions, and he has chosen today, I must say, to speak on the topic of efficiency and productivity. Swan, do you want to share a little bit about yourself and what you're passionate about before we get into the questions?
Thanks, Sam. Hi, everybody. My name is Suan. I look after, as Sam mentioned, all of our education efforts in the region. I am super passionate about my kids. I have two young kids, both in primary school, 1 year 6 and 1 year 3. Really excited about, as a parent, seeing them grow up and growing up with technology. So it's, important. I think some of the things I'll talk about today will relate to my kids, but also spending time with them. What this pandemic has actually taught me is how much I value the outdoor. So it's somewhat ironic. Maybe we should have done this outdoor, Sam. But really embracing the beautiful country that we live in.
Yeah, that's really quite interesting, isn't it? Because I always think of you as an indoorsy kind of guy. So yeah, that's fascinating. Cool. All right. Well, thanks, Swan. So, as we said, efficiency and productivity is your chosen topic of choice. And as I have pre-warned you, we've got to be bite-sized. So we've got 4 minutes with the timer. And then if we beat the clock, you can either ask me a question, I might ask you a question, we might do a bit of both. And yeah, so are you ready to take the challenge?
Let's do it.
Cool. All right, I'm going to start the timer and I'll make sure we've got all the right questions ready to go. I don't want to ask you the wrong questions for the wrong topic. That would be awkward. Okay, cool. First mobile phone and current phone.
So first mobile phone, Nokia 3210, black and white screen, and current phone is a Google Pixel 4.
Cool. What does working efficiently and productively mean to you?
So for me, it's solving the problem, right? Solving the problem the easiest way and the shortest time possible. Having a plan and then executing the plan. So this could be something as complex as planning a big strategy review, or as simple as just replying to a simple email. So being efficient in the time frame that you have.
Interesting. When and where do you work best?
In my home office, where I am right now, double screens and focus on the task at hand. So no distractions. After I drop the kids off, come back, head down is when I get really productive.
Favorite app for helping your efficiency or productivity?
So I live my life by calendar, by Google Calendar. So everything is planned. I know exactly what I need to do, when I need to do it by, and who I need to meet with to discuss.
Biggest efficiency and productivity challenge?
Ooh, probably, in the current climate of working from home, all the distractions that you have at home, for me are the kids. Sometimes it's good to have a distraction. Having too many meetings as well, sort of back to back to back. And my pet peeve, which is slow internet connectivity.
That's so true. So you've got 2 minutes 30 left. We're tracking along beautifully, just so you know. Yeah, so we can relax. The number one thing you've done that has had the biggest impact on your efficiency or productivity?
For me, it's been, again, working from home and virtually is delegating efficiently or asking for help. At Google, we always work in teams, and what we found that obviously many hands make light work. Collaboration, working together with others in something as simple as a Google Doc or slides, I think just working together makes it a lot more efficient. So I think collaboration and teamwork is probably the number one thing that I've done, right? And knowing when to ask for help is sort of the biggest impact, I think, to my efficiency.
Book, video, or podcast you'd recommend to others?
So I've got 2 books. I'll give you a bonus book. One is Getting Things Done by David Allen. And the second, I don't know, it's sort of contentious, is Spark Joy by Marie Kondo. So we followed the KonMari method here in our household. But I'll talk first about getting things done. So those of you who are GTD fans, very simple 5-stage workflow of capture, clarify, organize, reflect, and engage. And so making sure that you know exactly where you are in the process, and this could apply to everything in your life, right? And so having a very systematic workflow of understanding, what needs to be done all the way through to doing it. It's sort of so Getting Things Done by David Allen is the first one. Spark Joy by Marie Kondo. Those of you who follow the KonMari method of decluttering and organizing your home. So for me, sort of talking about productivity and efficient, you can't have that if you're constantly cluttered with all the different things that you have in your head, right? The 10,523 things that you have to do. And so I like this book because it teaches you about decluttering and organizing your life, even down to like the way you fold your clothes and put things in drawers, in little boxes. And so making sure that you can compartmentalize your thoughts in those ways as well. So making lists, making sure that you're doing things that give you joy in your life, I think will definitely help you become more efficient, and productive in your day-to-day stuff.
That's awesome. And you got so excited about that. The time has just run out, but I'm still going to ask you my last question because I'm super keen to know. If you could save an hour each day and spend it doing something you're passionate about, how would you spend it?
So it's probably something to do with spending time outdoors with kids. So it's nothing to do with technology at all. I think I love spending, whether it's going to the beach, whether it's playing basketball with my son, just love being outside and again, enjoying the beautiful weather, that we have here in Sydney. So yeah, I would do something else that actually has nothing to do with technology.
That's awesome. Thank you, Swan. I love it. And you probably saw, I got super excited when you mentioned those two books because I love them. So I was like, oh, he likes.
Awesome. Yeah, I love. I mean, she's amazing. Like every time I watch her, like I know she has a very systemic approach to things, but it's amazing just how specific and detail oriented she is, right?
It is. It's so good. And like, I think, because I've done what you've done. Like I Marie Kondoed my whole house, right? Definitely. Like all my drawers look beautiful and all of that. And we often talk when we do training, particularly when we're doing training around Google Drive, funnily enough, we often talk about doing the
Organizing.
Drive. Yeah. And it's like we do like, does this file spark joy or is it required? And it's the same kind of process. Like
It is. Yeah, no, we do it. So, and we went through with the kids, right? Just because you got to organize by category, right? Like not by house, right? So we like one day we did all the glasses and mugs in our kitchen, and we're like, why do we need so many mugs? And there's a lot of trade shows when you go to, they give you mugs. So you got all these vendor mugs as well. And the same with, I can't remember, books. We did books, which is always, it's super challenging as well. So, but the kids get it. They're so good with decluttering now. That it's we almost live with when you get something new, you have to replace something old. So like when they buy like a new pair of jeans, like you can't just shove that new pair of jeans in. You got to get rid of something old, right? So yeah, it's good. It's been good discipline for us. It's also because we live in an apartment, and so you kind of have to be. You can't just keep shoving stuff in. And it's really great for my wife because she's a bit of a hoarder. So like for her, like letting go, I'm like, does this spark joy? Does this spark joy? And yeah, no, it's wonderful. She's actually the one that introduced it because she realized she needed a system to declutter, and so we did it, and yeah, we've done it. I think it's good. Every few years, you just got to go through that cycle of with the different categories. So we rotate.
Yeah, and it really does come back to that efficiency and productivity too. Like just because it's just reducing clutter everywhere just gives, I feel anyway personally, like it gives you that brain space to be able to do more.
Yeah.
So it's
I
interesting.
mean, think of it as even your workspace, right? If your desk is constantly full of stuff, like it just puts you in the wrong mindset to work. And I think that ability to keep it clean and keep it open, also sets the stage for you for that day, right? I'm like, all right, I've got all these things I need to do, and I know how I need to get it done. So yeah.
No, so true. And I was going to leave on one note because I was thinking you might find this cool. I listened to a little podcast episode the other day that talked about thinking about your calendar like a physical space that you can declutter. And this person actually referenced Marie Kondo. I can't remember the name of the episode, but I'll link it in the show notes.
Please.
Yeah, and it was really, really good because it talked about the same thing, like looking at your calendar and going, are these things either essential or do they spark joy? Because they're kind of like, think of your calendar like a cupboard. Like you just can't keep shoving stuff in because otherwise it's going to overflow and it's going to hit you on the head, and you need to kind of do that spring cleaning of your calendar. And it was really interesting to think of that concept applied to that, particularly because you were saying that, you know, you live your life by your calendar. So that's something that popped into my head, the two topics for everyone.
Yeah. I was going to ask you a question. I know we ran out of time, but I thought we'd just chat anyway. But what is the one piece of technology software that you can't live without today?
Oh, that's super interesting. And not being a copycat, it's totally my calendar though as well. Funnily enough, like I had this conversation with someone else, actually someone you and I both know, and that fact that I could do away with my email if I needed to, but if I lost my calendar, I'd be like, whoa, like what do I do? That's 100%. And both probably on my phone and on my computer. Like, so having the calendar available wherever I am. Like, we're not traveling really, but yeah. So yeah, I'm sorry, that's probably not the answer you wanted because it's the same as yours.
No, it's good. Okay, so I'll ask you one more question. So I get one bonus question then, since what is the one invented product that will change the world?
Oh wow, that's a big question without notice. One that's already been invented that will change.
No. What is the one uninvented product?
Wow, this is unfair because I gave you questions in advance. You're my first.
Ask your question.
Everyone listening, what do I? Okay, that's super interesting. I think the ability, like, what's that word? This is going to sound silly. You know, where you're in a place and then you magically appear in another place.
When you can not transpose, teleport.
Oh, teleport. Yeah, totally teleport. Because I think, right, we all love to travel. We all like to see each other in person. And the pandemic's really shown that, as like you and I were discussing before, right, we can do a lot over video, but we still miss that connection. But I think what we've also learned during the pandemic is that, you know, the impact that so much travel has on the environment, but also us personally, on our families and all of that. So amazing. If I could just want to come and see you in Sydney and be like, whoop, I'm there, and then come back again in time for tea, teleport. It solves all the problems.
So good. Okay.
There you go.
My answer was probably not as interesting because I did say uninvented. I don't know if that will ever be invented, but my answer was I wish there was a way that we can easily translate our thoughts onto a screen, right? Like, so there are times I'm sure where you're like, oh, I just thought of this, and then you got to go type it down or write it down somewhere, right? So if there's some way that, you know, where there's a super chip that's in our head that, you know, that's connected to the internet, right? I'm thinking, oh, I wonder what the temperature tomorrow is, right? Rather than have to go speak it, I'm like straight away beam into my head.
And it just pops up.
And it just pops up. Yeah.
So no more OK Google. It's just like OK Google knows, and it's there on the screen telling you.
I want to know the answer even before I have to ask it, right? So I'm just thinking it. Yeah.
That's way more interesting than mine because mine's already appeared in science fiction. Oh, well, that's so good, Swan. Thank you. And I know we could just keep talking about. You've probably got like a more list. So I think we should wrap up before you ask me another question. Well, thank you so much for sharing your wisdom with everyone today. I really appreciate your time.
Thanks, Sam, and thanks for having me. And to all the listeners out there, thank you, and look forward to connecting with you guys. So thank you for having me.
Excellent. And you've done a beautiful segue because where can these lovely people connect with you?
You can reach me on Twitter, which you'll share my Twitter details at Suan Yeo, or you can put my email information in there as well. So feel free to drop me a line if you want to connect. And yeah, look forward to seeing you on the next podcast, on the next call, and at a screen, coming to a screen near you.
Totally. All right, everyone. Well, that's it for our very exciting show today with Suan. So thanks for joining us. Now, if you have enjoyed the conversation, you may like to subscribe to the Using Technology Better YouTube channel, or if you're listening to the podcast version, do follow the show so that you can get notified of all the latest episodes. Now, if you've not already subscribed to our fortnightly newsletter all about efficiency and productivity and organization, then do check that out. I've popped the link to that below as well. So that's it from us for today, but I will see you again soon for another bite-sized piece of the learning adventure that is life. See you then.
Bye.